were there not opportunities in Kenya apart from Ghana? Why Ghana and not any other place? And plus, maybe you don't know anybody here in Ghana, so why would you consider Ghana?
Okay.
Well,
that's when I was searching for an opportunity or where to go for my first employment. It wasn't based on a country. So whatever I was looking for, I wasn't looking it in terms of this country, but I was looking it in terms of the values and the vision that the organization has, because it was my first tech job. I wanted an environment where I was going to learn, grow, and get mentorship. So at that moment, the organization that I got to work with was fortunately located in Ghana. So I had to relocate to Ghana to pursue what I want. So it wasn't based on a country. It was based on the values and the vision that the organization had in line with what I wanted at that moment. So regardless of the country, I would have gone for it.
Okay. So how long have you been in Ghana so far?
I'd say 1 month, 1 year and around 3 months, 1 year, 3 months.
Oh, okay, that's great. Okay. So Esther will tell us about her journey. Esther, Afri, please. We want to hear how the journey has been so far for you, how you started, and how it's going.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Esther, and as my profile said, I am an information security consultant and auditor. So with my journey, I studied computer science in university. That's my first degree. And I know you all witnessed the fact that IT is broad, computer science is broad. I went to KNUST, and the 4-year program didn't really give us an opportunity for specialization. And so I completed not knowing which area of computer science I would want to pursue. Fast forward, national service, I worked with a bank, and I happened to be in the risk management department, IT risk to be specific. So over there, I learned quite a lot, and you know, cybersecurity, risk management go hand in hand, right? And so I developed a passion there to pursue it. And so I started doing some courses in information security and audit. And the company that I went to do my training, after the training poached me. And that was how my journey started in cyber and information security.
So you know, most times, especially I heard, and I don't know how true it is. Maybe you can work on that for us. So, or speak about it concerning this issue. So we hear that most ladies who pursue tech courses, or let's say IT courses in the university, end up not pursuing it after the university. Is it because they feel it's a male-dominated area and they can't succeed in it, or the course is too difficult for them? Because I've also heard stories and seen people who pursued IT, ladies who pursued IT in the university, and after IT, they've diverted to something else, not IT. So can you speak on it for us, this issue? Is it true that it's difficult? Is it true that because it's a male-dominated area, so people feel, the ladies feel intimidated in a way?
Okay, so from my experience, I think that there is the notion that, yes, IT is a male-dominated field. And so normally you wouldn't find a lot of females in there. A clear example is my first degree. We were about 180 in the class, and the females were about around 30 thereabouts, which
Wow.
is, I mean, the ratio is not encouraging at all. But then I think most ladies who end up in such areas want to take up a challenge, okay? Because I mean, there is this female empowerment programs that have come up and encouraging young ladies to pursue what has been said that females cannot do. And so I don't think it's because it's difficult. Mind you, there's nothing easy in this world. And so putting your mind to it and having the passion to it and willing to make a change in terms of gender can push you there. And so kudos to all leaders in STEM. Thank you.
Okay. So we have our last speaker speaking on his journey in tech, Clifford, speaking on his journey in tech. So, hello, Clifford.
Yeah, I'm
Hello.
here.
Yes,
Yeah.
please tell us about your journey so far.
Yeah, sure. So I actually have a background in IT. I did science in high school. I was not decided, but I didn't do biology. You have the option to select either biology or elective IT. So I did that, and that's where I think it started. Well, apart from childhood playing with computer and paint and those kind of things. But in high school, we weren't really interested in it. We started programming in high school, but we didn't really take it seriously. I don't know why. Probably if we did, we would have been, God knows what would have been now. But yeah, so it went on to uni. Uni, I did computer science, but even before that, I wasn't sure I wanted to do computer science because for some reason, the kind of image I had of those that did computer science was very misleading. And it wasn't my fault. I think, you see, back in high school, you have these teaching practice guys that come, to come and help their lecturers. So I thought those guys were computer science students. I didn't know they were education students. And they weren't really teaching us the IT stuff well. Like, they didn't know what they were teaching. So I had this, I was like, oh, nah, I'm not doing computer science. Because that was what I thought I was going to be. And then I did some research, talked to some few people, people that were already like in computer science world and that kind of thing. And I changed that narrative. So that was how I did computer science in school. But even in uni, it was serious, but I wasn't really taking it too seriously like that until 2020. Yeah, that was when I did some uh end of year review. I like to do that a lot. And then I realized I had to, pick a stand. So that was when I was thinking whether I should do software engineering or I should do data science. And I picked data science because I felt it was more challenging compared to software engineering. And I liked, before I knew what data science was about, I was hearing all these buzzwords and it sounded, challenging and very interesting. So I was like, okay, I'll pick that. And then initially I was going to be a TA. So the whole plan was, okay, you're going to be a TA for a year. You have a year to learn data science, and then after the TA is just a year. So after that, you now play around it and then try and get a job. So that was the plan. And then there was this training program that came, it's called Azubi Africa. It was a data science boot camp. And I decided to go for it because, I was going to learn it on my own, but I decided to just join the boot camp, just meet people that are also on that journey. So I got into Azubi, and they selected some of us to do national service with them. And I was like, hey, sure, yeah, I'd like to do it, because the whole plan was learn the data science for a year. After that, now practice and then try and get a job in the data science. But if these guys are giving me the experience and then the learning in a year, why not? So I hopped on there, and that was where it started. So I was there for a year, and then I moved to Pharmaline. And Pharmaline, I was a data engineer there, but for Azubi getting noticed, I started with data science stuff. During that process, I was learning data engineering, and I think I fell in love with that. I like more of the building than the investigator. Data science is mostly more investigation stuff. And I prefer the hardcore stuff. I wanted something that would make me do hardcore programming or building. So I went into data engineering, and then I got my first data engineering role at Pharmaline. They are into agriculture. And I left Pharmaline I got into Pharmaline in 2021, and I left in 2022 April to join M-Pharma, also as a data engineer. And that's where I've been since April to date. So mine has been quite interesting. It's been interesting because sometimes, well, getting started into this tech, it's not easy. Everybody wants to get into tech, but they come in, they see the magnitude of work, and then they run. It hasn't been easy. Yes, there's money in tech, all right, but it's also very competitive. You have to be very good at what you do. So you realize that there's so much to learn, and you never stop learning, actually. You always have to learn, because there's always something coming up. And if you want to always be at the front line, you have to always be updated, know what's going on in the space. So it wasn't easy. There are times where you sleep late, because you're learning something. Because I remember my days in Azubi Africa during the training. We had these tests that we used to take.
Okay.
You have to prepare, you have to learn. We had to take the Agile exam. I remember we hadn't slept in like 2 days, because we were all preparing for the exam, trying to solve questions on the D-Day. Like, that whole stress, but that's the thing. Nobody actually sees that. They all see the wins, and it looks as if it's overnight. By the way, there was a lot of work to make that happen. So that has been my journey. This is a brief one.
Sure,
Yeah.
thank you. We're moving to Holland. With Ghana, I think the tech space, we've not much grown in the tech space compared to other countries like Nigeria, the US, UK. We have other countries that the tech industry is booming compared to Ghana, that is recently catching up with this digitization agenda of the government and everything. And so I want to ask Conlan, how, and most people too are not also in the tech field. It's not that people are getting the opportunity to jump into tech. So I want to ask Conlan, how difficult or how easy was it getting mentors or coaches in the areas that you wanted to pursue in tech? How was it? How was the journey like? Because I don't know a lot of people in Ghana. The tech, as Esther said, the tech industry is very big, it's wide. There's so much you can do in tech. We have healthcare, we have agriculture. It's so big. So how easy or difficult was it getting mentors in the area that you wanted to pursue? Conlan, that's my question to you. How easy or how difficult was it getting mentors?
I'll say it's a bit mixed. When I go to I went to KUST for my undergrad. So when I go to tech, I had a lot of friends who were also interested in like wanted to be programmers and I think first year we went for this program called Hack Lab, met a lot of developers all over. I'm somebody that easily I can go and work in anybody. That's how I got mentors. See that
Okay.
this person is
So
good.
for you, it was easy for you getting mentors.
Yeah, it was easy for me getting mentors.
Would you say, software engineering, software development in Ghana, it's a very saturated area in Ghana. Would you agree to that fact? It's saturated, as in more people are pursuing that.
Yeah, more people are pursuing that. And the reason is that most jobs in Ghana based in the software engineering industry. So it's easy to get mentors in engineering. The tech community in Ghana is very thin. So we have WhatsApp groups, yeah, mostly WhatsApp groups. And then when you meet one, they'll be like, send your WhatsApp, and when you join, start meeting different people. That's how you build maximum. And if you have any problem, you don't know anything, express that opinion, explain why you meant. That's how what you need. That really good.
Okay. So I want to ask this question. So I want to ask Clifford, I want to ask Conlan. So Conlan, let's say if I want to go into an area in tech that is not well known in Ghana, but out there it's a big deal. Let's say I want to go into healthcare, or let's say agric is coming up now. But if I want to go to a different field that is not saturated in Ghana, how do I get people to help me in that journey? Because mind you, if you don't know anything that much about that field, but you still have that desire and passion to pursue, how do you get people to support you? How do you get people to coach you? How do you get people to link you up to good opportunities that will open you up to what's in that field for you?
Yeah, I'll say it's true. It's very difficult because you don't know what you don't do until. So it's always good to get mentors, and mostly when you go to YouTube and then start watching videos about that sector, you see trying to explain things to you. And from there, from YouTube, I'm sure most of them will put their Twitter details. So that's how mostly adults will go and follow the person. Once in a while, you can hit them and just and then
Try your luck.
Yeah. What's the worst thing that person can say? No, or you don't even reply. Right.
Yeah,
So
okay.
that's how you can get other people that can
Okay.
mentor you.
So we should just, for the YouTube, it should be your best friend in tech, because it's not everything that you're going to get people to help you out with. Sometimes you just need to go on the net and search it out yourself and do the work.
Yes, please.
Okay. So okay. So I want this question goes to Eve. Eve, I want to ask this question. How do you break into tech with a non-technical background? How do you break into tech? How if someone is from a non-technical background, or the person hasn't learned anything IT but wants to break into tech, how would the person go about it? People's journeys are different, but how would you advise a person to go about it? Because I know there's a lot of people that want to go into tech, especially people who don't have any tech background, or let's say IT background, but they want to go into tech, but they don't know how to do it. They don't know where to start from. And I think, how should they go about it? Because when I was doing this, people said all the speakers are from a tech background. I said, oh no, there's someone who is not from a tech background and she can also share her experience on how she did it, because I know it's not easy, and how you were able to switch from what you were doing to a very technical role. Please share with us. We want to know. Somebody wants to know. How did you do that? How did you do that? How did you switch into tech?
Okay, just as I think Clifford mentioned that it is not easy. First of all, it's not easy. So you need to have that passion, because if you don't have passion, you might end up giving up, because there are sometimes you have sleepless nights, especially when you are now transitioning. It's not the same, especially if you've come from a theoretical background and now you're going into the computational stuff. So I'll say you can never prepare enough for it. So it's tough. It's not a walk in the park, but one thing you need to have is the passion. Because even if you feel like giving up, if you have that passion, you'll keep on keeping on and being the best in it. And first you have to know why do I want to go into tech in the first place? Like if you know the reasons that you want to go into tech, then you'll be able to be in that environment, and regardless of the challenges, you'll keep on pushing it. And you've also asked online that how easy is it to get mentors or mentors? I'd say it depends with the person. Because for me, the reason why, as much as I've worked hard on my side to deliver or to be good in the technical sector, you need mentors, you need your community, you need people who will keep you on toes as much as you want to be accountable on yourself. So from my side, ever since I started having that, I'll say that interest to join tech, there were people from my formative stages whom I approached, and I shared what I want to pursue. I told them that I'm in the agribusiness sector and I would want to go into the tech sector. They pointed me on the direction I can follow. So they told me, okay, let's start with a boot camp. Do you like it? If you like it, let's proceed and look for opportunities where you can learn and grow and still continue working at the same time. Because for tech, you learn while doing it. You have to keep your hands dirty. You have to be ready to go an extra mile to be good at what you do. So if you're not from the technical world, it's a little bit, it's not as easy, I'd say, but you have to know the reason why you started at the first time, and it should be something that will keep on or will still push you even when you feel like giving up. And you have to have that community that keeps you accountable as much as you're keeping yourself accountable, so that you grow to be the best version of you. So I think it's about being pointed to the right direction and choosing what you appreciate most and knowing why you first started it. Yeah.
So if you started because of money, because you heard people are earning in dollars, people are earning in pounds, you get discouraged, because when it gets to that point, it's not about the money, it's about you delivering, right?
Okay, it's some people, they might start because of money but thrive in it. So it depends on how passionate you are to get the money. So if you're passionate, you'll do the hard work, and you'll continue even if it's hard to deliver and to be good at it, regardless of the reasons that you want to join the tech industry.
That's interesting. So for you doing the boot camp, it was like a try something. You wanted to try and see whether you are taking the right step.
Okay. The reason why I went for the boot camp, initially, as I said, I was in the agribusiness sector, and I identified some gaps that might be closed with technology. So initially I wanted to pursue tech because I wanted to integrate agribusiness with tech. But in the process, I ended up falling more in love or being pursued to go into the tech sector, and I fully immersed myself in there. So for the reasons was to integrate what I was doing with tech, but at the end of the day, I ended up being fully into the tech industry.
Okay. So we go to Esther. Esther, want to know how do you save on courses? Because I think some other time you posted some courses. I'm like, when I converted into Ghana cedis, it was a lot. It was a lot. So how do you prepare for courses? Because with IT, it's more of certifications really help to get you to the next level certification. So how do you save on courses, good courses? How do you save on courses? Because some of the fees are very scary. So how do you save on good courses if you want to really pursue course in your field, in any field you find yourself in tech? How do you save on good courses and get them? How do you save on? Is there a way to save on good courses?
Yes. I mean, when you check on some of the courses and you see the prices, they can be really scary. But I believe each and every course has its relevance. Okay, and so you have to know your line of work, okay, and what is expected of you, and which course will be relevant to your work, or looking at where you are heading to, the area of study that you want to specialize in. You identify those courses that will be of help to you and you go in for them. Now, like you mentioned, the courses are expensive, and when you do the conversion, yes, it can really be scary. But then, if you are lucky to find yourself in a company that pays for you, some companies, even when you use your own money to pay for it, they reimburse you. But if you don't find yourself in such a company, all you have to do. Sorry, was I muted? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Did you get me, or I was muted throughout?
No, I got you back. No.
Oh,
We
okay.
lost you for a few seconds, but you're back.
Okay. Yeah, so I was saying that some companies are kind enough to reimburse you after using your own money, then there's nothing to worry about. But if you have to use your own money for these courses, then the only way out is to save and do them. And so the money involved can be a checker for you, because you cannot afford to lose about $700. And so it kind of binds you to really steady and then get what you want. So I would say that that's the only way out. And some of the courses also run discounts at certain periods. So what you have to do is to, get enough knowledge on the course that you want to do. Make sure that it's really relevant to your work and your future plans in terms of career, and then look out for discounts on some of these courses. Yes.
Okay. And okay, that's a good one there. So when you were talking about the courses, you're saying you should know your line of work. So and Eva also mentioned that nothing prepares you. So not long ago, I had a discussion with someone, and I know that the person is pursuing software engineering, and she tells me that she has to take a data analytics course. I'm like, oh, what's up? I thought you were thrown into the software engineering field. So how come the data analytics? So how do you sign up? Like, how do you psych yourself for that? These, like, you're pursuing this field and a project comes up and you have to take another course, which is not related to the let's say what you are doing, but you have to learn that course to be able to help you do a project. So Eve, I want to ask you this question. So how do you go about it? Because I honestly thought that maybe if you're doing software engineering, everything you're going to learn is about software engineering because it's a niche in tech. So what happens if you have a project and you have to study a course that's not related to the software engineering? Like how do you, I don't know if you get my question, but how do you prepare yourself towards it? How do you go about it? How do you, because it's like you're starting something from the scratch, if I'm not mistaken. How do you go about it? So if can you address that?
Oh, the question, I thought it was okay. I would say, okay, maybe if you're working on a project that you need to learn something that is in another scope, of course you will go back and learn about it. So, okay, when you come to the software world or the tech world, you come with an open mind. So, some things might not work out as you planned. So you remember Cliff said that he was torn between going into the software and the data science world, and finally he decided to go into the data science. So you can't just say I'm going on the software path alone. So in the middle, you might find something much interesting than what you initially decided to pursue. So and branch off into pursuing that. So I'll say you just come with an open mind, and whatever grabs you the most or you get interest in, you venture into that. So it's about loving what you do, I'd say. So you're not restricted into just one thing, that if I'm a software, I can't learn something in data. So you're allowed to learn anything as long as you have that time.
Sure. Okay. That's nice. So this question goes to Clifford. So Clifford, how do you get access to these groups, these like-minded communities in Ghana? I don't know if there are lots in Ghana, but I know Nigeria and other countries, they have these tech communities that people join. And I think with tech as compared to with other countries, is more developed. So you have communities in the various fields in tech. So how do you join such communities in Ghana, if there are any? Because I know there are few. I know there are very few. So how do you join these communities? Because I know you join some tech communities in Ghana.
Well, the communities are a lot.
In Ghana.
Well, not only in Ghana, but even in Ghana. So this is where the power of social media comes in, right? We have Snapchat, Twitter, WhatsApp, all these guys, but then we don't use it for our benefits, right? My TikTok, my Twitter, like this, it's all tailored to what I want to see. So things like tech, dance, like things that I want to see. That's what I see on my social media. So you can use that to find communities, because there are lots of communities I'm in on Twitter. And sometimes I just go and type maybe data engineering in Twitter. And then the results, like, to blow your mind, you see lots of communities, people that do data engineering or whatever field it is you want to do. Take LinkedIn, for instance. The question you asked about mentorship like this, it's actually very easy to get a mentor. It's just that people make it look difficult. Now, the reason I'm saying it's easy is because you just type data engineering in LinkedIn, you have a lot of people with that title, data engineering. And then now all you have to do is just send a message to everybody.
I'm talking about in Ghana, not outside Ghana.
Yes, in Ghana. That's what I'm talking about. In Ghana. Because I reached out to, there are some people I know now that I reached out to on LinkedIn and then Twitter. And these same people added me to communities. And I've also found communities that on my own, and I joined myself. I mean, when I was starting up, I even had like too many groups and all that. I had to just filter them out and you know. So I think it depends on how you use your social media. If you use it to help you, you really enjoy it. But then if you just let it, social media is filled with a lot of necessary and unnecessary things. So
Sure.
if you don't filter that one out, you realize that you consume too many unnecessary things. Maybe you are interested in seeing only funny posts, and then now you are seeing tech posts. You are not interested in that. So I think it depends on how you use the social media.
Okay, so Esther will take the last one before we go on a short break. So Esther, with leveraging on social media, how has LinkedIn contributed to your career so far? How has LinkedIn, WhatsApp? No, when it comes to professionals, I know LinkedIn is a go-to place. So let me be specific. How has LinkedIn contributed to your career so far? Apart from all the pressure people are giving us, some people are giving us serious pressure on LinkedIn. How has it contributed? How has it contributed to your career so far? LinkedIn, before we go on a break. So can you address that before we go on a break?
Okay, so for me, I would say that LinkedIn has really helped me in a much positive way. One thing that we need not to look down on, I mean, we don't have to look down on in this career building is networking. And LinkedIn has been a good source of networking for me. You get to meet people in your industry. You get to share knowledge with other people in the same industry. If you get to see programs that are being advertised, okay, mentorship programs, to the extent that I've had quite a number of mentors from LinkedIn. And so for me, I'll say that it's really helped me. And one advice I would give is that, make sure that your profile has a very good presentation of what you do. Okay, it really attracts a lot of good people that will be of benefit to you in your area of work. So for me, it's been really good for me.
Okay, so please, are taking 5 minutes break, then we'll just come back. Just 10 minutes break, then we'll come back. 5-10 minutes break, then we'll come back to the second session. From our break. Hello, welcome back from the break. Hello.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you.
Okay.
Guten Tag.
Welcome back from the break. So, want to continue from where we ended on the first session. So, Esther was saying LinkedIn and LinkedIn helping her to get good opportunities. Do you also believe that you have to also change your circle in a way to match, not necessarily changing your circle, but the people you work with? I think they also play a big role. They also play a big role apart from social media, the people you work with. For instance, I think if you want to pursue, let's say, a tech career, you also have to start, let me say, intentionally building friendship along that line. So that at least when you face difficulties or when you're down, maybe they can lift you up, because some have an upper hand, some are ahead, some are also below. So it's like you are pulling people up, people are also pulling you up. So would you say that would you recommend or advise people to intentionally switch their circles to toe into the career path they've decided to pursue? Clifford.
Sorry, can you take that again?
Okay, so I'm saying that when it comes to friendships or the people you work with, your associations, would you advise, apart from the social media communities, would you advise that people should intentionally switch to people pursuing your field of interest? Do you get it? There's
Yeah,
a saying that you can together you can go fast, but with two people or something like that, you can go faster. So would you advise people to also switch their circles to help them in a way, apart from these social media people we don't necessarily get to meet on a day-to-day basis?
yeah. I mean, if you surround yourself with like-minded people, it makes things easier. So for instance, you want to get into tech, you have a lot of tech friends around you. It makes things very easy. It makes your learning very smooth. You don't understand something, someone is there to help you, or someone is there to encourage you. The same goes for every other field, right? Now I'm learning Kizomba. I have a lot of Kizomba friends around me. When I go to the Kizomba dance, I meet a lot of people that I vibe with, and then we dance. When it comes to tech too, I also have like the tech boys and girls. When it comes to something else, gym, like there's the gym boys and girls,
I'm part.
all these yeah, all these things help. It really does. So you get people in your circle, and there are some people maybe they don't fall in any category. So whether gym, tech, nothing, but then they support you and then they fool you. People like that are very important as well. They know they don't have the tech skills or the other skills that you need, but then they give you that push. So they try to motivate you and be there for you. So I think if you surround yourself with like-minded people, it really makes life very easy for you.
So, and I want to also ask this question. During the COVID period, the emphasis on working remotely was really put out there. The banking sector and even most of the office job, they resorted to working from home. I want to ask, you have an experience with that, like working remotely. How is it compared to working, like doing the physical, like office work? How is it like when you compare the two?
So for me, I haven't done much office work. Most of my roles have all been remote. So for me, is I find it way better. If you told me to do an office job 9 to 5 right now, you really worried me. You really, really, really disturbed me. It's going to be very hard for me to do. Because you see, with the remote, it's very flexible. Nobody in my company, for instance, nobody is going to be on your neck. Have you done this? No, 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 no. You're supposed to, do this task at the end of the sprint, 2
I can
weeks.
get email alerts.
No, no. So you're supposed to do these task at the end of the sprint, 2 weeks. Nobody is going to be on your neck asking you how far, what have you done? Let me see you. No, you can choose to, if you want to work in the night, nobody cares. Do whatever you want. Just that we need results at the end of the sprint. If at the end of the sprint, where are your results? You say you've not done it. Why haven't you done it? I didn't feel like doing it. Then we have a problem. And if you decide to finish your sprints in one day, and then you are done. No, nobody cares. The thing is, we are all looking for results.
Please, what is a sprint? Most of us don't get a sprint. So what is a sprint? We are not used to remote work. So please clarify that point for us. What is a sprint?
So mostly is you see in almost every company, the engineering team have like a period of time where they work on certain task, and it's mostly 2 weeks. It's called a sprint. So at the start of a sprint, or at the start of that 2 weeks, you kind of outline the task that every team member is going to perform, and then once the sprint starts, everybody gets to work, and then at the end of the sprint, we look at what we've done, what we were able to do, and then we plan for the next sprint. So it's every 2 weeks. That's how we do it on my end. But I think it's kind of similar to almost everyone. So yeah, for the remotes, it's really good because sometimes I pick up meetings in town. It makes things very easy. It's flexible. You want to lie down, just come and lie down. When you have your Slack alert, go and reply or do whatever you have to do. For me, I go to the gym in the morning. If I was to do a 9 to 5 job, it's going to be very, very hard for me to go to the gym in the morning.
Back
And
to
then,
work.
yes. And even at work, even if you don't have anything to do, you still cannot lay down. You have to still sit and pretend you are doing something on your computer, otherwise your boss will bring more work to you. But with remote, I mean, you don't know what I'm doing. What if I'm working? I'm not working. Maybe I'm taking a nap. You don't know. You're not behind my computer, so you never know. And also, but there's also there are pros and cons to everything, right? So with remote working, you might end up overworking, which is the case for almost everyone, unless you draw like some very draw some boundaries, because you're working from home. You can be in bed. Oh, let me just do this. Open your laptop. It's 10 p.m. and you're just doing some patches somewhere. Yeah, these are some of the cons. And also, because you're home, you might end up being isolated, right? If you don't make the conscious effort to go out, you realize that you're always indoors, and then you don't go out, you might lose touch with people. And also, because you don't go to the office, you only know your team members and then the people that you work with on other teams, but you barely know people in your company. For me, I barely know a lot of people in my company. Half of
Okay.
For me, I barely know a lot of people in my company because I barely go there. So anytime I go there, it's like, hey, who are you? And then I'm like, oh, I'm Cliff. I'm on this team.
You're always introducing yourself every single day.
Yes, exactly. And I don't have a problem with that though. I'll still prefer remote to that. So yeah, these are some of the pros and cons with working remotely. You just have to make a conscious effort and make it work for you. So sometimes I just go out to go and work just to see people or go and dance kizomba. All these are conscious
Just to
efforts.
release your stress, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So, okay. Interesting. But you all agree that working in tech can be very, very stressful. I don't know whether you are doing technical or I don't know with the non-technical roles, but I know that with the technical roles, it gets really stressful.
Show me a job not in tech that is not stressful. Trust me, I'll go and do it.
So
I don't think there's any job that's not stressful.
Yeah. But people assume that with the technical roles, I don't know, because maybe they are not used to that. So when they see people doing it, they feel like it's stressful.
Maybe they are just excuses, because I do make a lot of excuses sometimes. I'm part of it, but sometimes I try to.
My former roommate, oh no, but it was started there.
I think your mic is.
Hello, Afisia.
Yeah.
Then they were giant, so giant.
Hello.
I think you can try and mute her.
Okay. I've done that, but okay, sure. So, Clifford, please, you are listening.
Yeah, so I'm saying that sometimes I'm part, right? We all make excuses sometimes, but I always tell myself that I don't have any excuse because I don't know which job is easy. Even if you want to enjoy 24/7 as your job, your full-time job, it's still not easy because imagine you have to enjoy yourself from 12 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. every single day for the next 10 years. It's not going to be easy. Like I don't know any job that's not um stressful, but I think it all comes down to how you manage your time and then your how you prioritize your mental health. You know, there are some companies that will really test your patience and test your mental health. You know, it comes down to how you're going to handle that. And if you feel it's too much, you know, you have to leave. For me, I prioritize my mental health very well. So yeah, I think it's fine. It gets stressful, but it's fine. It's doable.
Okay, sure. Thank you. So, okay. Yeah, back to Esther. Esther. So, Esther, you, from how you spoke concerning your journey, you already had an IT background. Even though you have an IT background, there are still challenges. How have you dealt with the challenges? How have you dealt with the challenges? How have you dealt with the challenges? Hello, Esther. Hello, Esther.
Hi, Abna.
Yes, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, how have you dealt with the challenges? The challenges.
Okay, so for me, I would say that I have been very lucky in terms of the team leads I've had over the period. Okay, right from national service till this point, I've had some really good bosses who have literally held my hand every step of the way. And so if any challenges come along the way, I consult them and they sort me out. Some challenges are inevitable, but then I think with my networks and my immediate bosses, I've been able to overcome them.
Okay. Okay, that's fine.
Guten Tag.
Okay, so we I think it's almost time for our questions. It's almost time for our questions. Let me check. It's almost time for. Ooh. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, sure. Okay, so a quick one for Eve before we go to our questions. So Eve, you spoke about your decision to move to Ghana, not necessarily being about the country, it was about the company. What was so special about this company that you had to move all the way from Kenya to Ghana to come and work? What attracted you to the company? Oh, sorry, people. Sorry for the images that just appeared. Sorry. If this, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. What was so special about the company that you had to move all the way from Kenya to come and work in Ghana? Because there are a lot of good companies in Kenya. There are a lot of good companies in Nigeria. If you ask me about tech, I think Nigeria is way ahead of Ghana. So if you were looking for like companies, I think there are also good companies that stand out in Kenya and Nigeria and other countries. So what made you attracted to this company that you had to move from your place to Ghana to work?
Okay. Like I said, since it was my first tech job, there are specific values that I was looking for.
Mm.
And I wanted to be in an environment where I can learn, grow, and get mentored at the same time. So I would say that it's the values that attracted me to the company, to move all the way to come here. So with the opportunity that I'd gotten at that time, the values that were being offered in the specific.
So Eve.
Okay, sorry, I think I've got enough, so you can continue.
Okay. Hello, Eve, please, you are listening.
Okay. Felix, you said you've sorted the issue.
Yes, please, I've sorted the issue.
Okay. I'll iterate what I'd said. At that moment, I was looking for an environment where I can learn, grow, and also get mentorship. So with the opportunity that I'd gotten at the moment, it was only in this organization that supported that. That's why it was worth taking the flight and coming back to learn, grow, and also get mentorship in the process of working. So I wouldn't say, and the one out, since it was my first time or my first tech job, and you know all the prerequisites or all the requirements that are needed in a tech job. So even going through the interview and being successful was actually a very hectic process or a very rigorous or intensive process. So from all the opportunities that I'd weighed at that time and all the companies that were ready to take me at my formative stages, there were actually few. So getting at an environment. Yeah.
Hello, if you are listening, please.
Yeah. Continue.
Yeah, I thank you. That's all for now.
Okay. So I want to ask this question. You know, there are companies, this question goes to Conlan. There are companies that require a lot when you're starting in tech, even though they know you don't have any experience. There are companies that you are fortunate to get the opportunity with them. How are you able to search for such companies, especially if you are entering tech for the first time? At least you need a company that's not asking too much. They are willing to consider you for a role, like as an entry role in tech. Is there such companies in Ghana that people can apply to when it comes to starting?
I think I can continue while Felix sorts those people out. Okay, so I think there are companies like that in Ghana here. They don't require much, but mostly those companies, it's like you go in for internship or something like that. Yeah, and mostly if you have mentors that works in these companies, they will recommend you that, okay, I know this guy, he's good at this, and then he's ready to learn and all those things. And if that person is respected in that company, they'll give you a try. Yeah. So with that, I think you can only get in through recommendation, somebody vouching for you, and then yeah, those companies are willing to take you. Abna, you're on mute.
I'm saying the issue about networking Esther spoke about also plays a role here, because if you don't know a lot of people, how would you get somebody to vouch for you? Hello,
Yeah, so yeah, I can hear you. It goes back to the networking we're speaking about. You have to know people, and then if you know the right people and they see how serious you are, they'll always recommend you. But mostly the hard work, you have to do it mostly. Yeah.
They will just help you to get your first foot in the company, and you would have to add up the other with your hard work and efforts, I guess.
Yes, please. And you have to come with something that like you can help the company with. You just don't come in and don't have anything to offer.
You just want to occupy the space. I get it. Okay. So we are starting with our questions. Okay, so the question goes to anybody. So I think this question, yes. Our first question: how long do you need to learn before you can start applying for jobs in tech? I think yes. So Eve, can you help us with that? How long? Hello? Hello?
Hello. For that, I don't have a definite answer because learning is a continuous process. So you can learn as long as you want, and you can start as soon as possible. It's up to you to make the decision. So I wouldn't say there's a definite answer or there's a definite time. I can't really tell. Maybe someone else might share something on that, but on my side, I don't have a definite answer for how long.
Okay. So Esther, would you want to add your take on that?
Well, similar
Especially
to what you said, I don't think.
Okay, you are already from a tech background or an IT background. Let's say somebody who is not with that experience and wants to pursue a career in tech. What advice would you give that person?
Okay. First of all, I would say that it's really possible. I mean, we haven't even the call. It's good evidence. I know quite a number of people who have transitioned from other areas into tech, and I will advise that you get the right people, get the right mentors, and be willing to learn. You need to have a teachable spirit, be willing to go the extra mile to be able to get input from other people to keep you going. So a lot of work depends on you, and also get the right people around you.
So is there a duration or is there a duration like to learn and get yourself into tech? Is there a duration? You know, some people will say I learned it in 1 year, 6 months. I took a course in 6 months. I did a boot camp. Is there really a duration, or it all depends on how you want to go about it?
Well, I don't think there's a timeline or a duration as to when you can start. Once you have the readiness and the passion, you can sort for help seek for help and get started with it. I don't think there's a timeline to it.
Okay. So our next question, please give me some few minutes to get the questions. Give me some few minutes to get the questions and send it and ask it, please. Okay. Please be asking your question. You can send it to the chat and we'll address it. Okay, so there's this question. You can ask the questions in the chat box. We'll address all the questions. There's this question. Do you think people need to target big companies like Google, Twitter, and Microsoft when they want to venture a career in tech? Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yes. Colin, this question goes to you.
Yeah, I think you can target any company you want in tech as long as you are good to go through their interview and other processes of recruitment, you are good to go.
So no company is beyond your reach.
Yes, no company is beyond your reach. It's just how good you are. So with the tech industry, when it gets to a certain point, it's how good you are that will take you to the next level. So if you are good, there's no company that is big or small for you. You can go in as long as you are good.
Okay. So Esther, do you have something to say on that? Targeting big companies. Targeting big companies as when you're starting in tech. Is there a good field?
I don't think you need to find there are companies that are considered big like Microsoft and the others, but I don't think there's any company that is beyond anyone's reach. Like Holland said, they'll take you through a process. Okay. It will be based on how well you answer your questions and how well you prove to them that you can take up the role they are giving you. And also, one thing is that you need to work on your CV. Sometimes it doesn't have to be fixed. Okay, when you see a role that you want to go in for, you tailor your CV in a way that it fits, the role. Okay, so that it looks quite presentable for them to reach out to you and give you a try. So yes, there's no one above or below any company.
But Esther, talking about CV, do you always, for the roles you see that you want to apply, do you always feel qualified? I heard something like you don't always feel qualified, but if you feel like you're 60% up for the job, apply for it. You never know. It's mostly the ones that you don't really think that you get. Those are the kind of job opportunities you get. What do you have to say on that? Do you always feel qualified for every role that you are playing? Do you always feel qualified?
Not at all. Sometimes when you see the advertisements and you check the job description, you can really get discouraged. But I don't think it should end there. Like I said earlier, if you think you're about 60% okay with the job description, you just have to tailor your CV in a way that they will see you or they'll consider you qualified. Okay, and the rest is up to you to catch up, learn, and catch up with their expectation. So if you think you are 50-60% qualified, just go for it. You never know. And most of these companies are always willing to train you. So it's not solely based on your knowledge.
Okay, that's interesting. There's another question.
Abby,
hello.
Okay, I'd love to add something on that question.
Sure, definitely.
I'd say the sky is your limit. So if you see the way Esther said, you're 60% qualified, you apply for it. But you find with this the big tech company, the interviewing process is intensive. So in the process, you make it a learning experience. At the end of the day, you might not get the chance or the opportunity to join the company, but you would have learned a lot and a lot of things that you didn't know, especially when it comes to the data structures and algorithm. So as much as maybe you're not qualified for it, sometimes it's a good learning opportunity. Yeah. As you prepare for the interview. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So, and okay. So when it comes to applying for jobs, you know, people apply for a lot of jobs and they even forget they've applied for this job. So I had a situation where somebody has applied for a job. Apparently, the person has forgotten that he applied for that job. Should you apply for a lot of jobs that you even end up forgetting that you've applied for that job? Or it's advisable to just pick your best 5, or let's say best 4, so that at least you know that you've applied for at least 5 jobs, and even if you don't get calls from all of them, at least you can get 2 or 3 calls from the best 5 you've taken. Is it advisable to apply for every job you, even though it's in your role, is it advisable to apply for every job role you see? So if
I'd say no, it's not advisable. Because as I said, when you're looking for a job, what exactly do you want? Do you just want a job? So you have to have targeted application. Like, I'm applying for this job and this is what I want at the end of the day. So if you say I'm applying for 10 jobs, you're getting 10 regrets. At the end of the day, it will take a toll on your mental health. It's like you should have targeted application. And why exactly are you applying to that company? What do you want to gain at the end of it? So I'd say when you're doing applications, they should be targeted according to what you need, your skill set, and also more of what you need from the company or to learn or to grow in that specific sector. So I'd say it's good to have targeted application and not just apply for jobs because they're there.
Thank you for your take on that. So there's another question by Joyce. She said, I'm in the health field and would want to start a career in tech. What would you recommend, or how do I go about it? I have no background in tech though. Hello. Conlan, please, anybody can take the question. Anybody can take the question.
I think Eve would be the best person to take this question because
Okay.
she wasn't in tech and then she came in.
Okay.
Before I ask Joyce, you said Joyce. Okay, before I answer Joyce, I want to know, okay, why does she want to join tech in the first place? Because the reason why you want to join tech is the reason that will keep you in tech, and it's the reason that will get you find your footing or your path in tech. So at least, yeah, from there, you will have the reason to start and the reason to pursue it. And what exactly do you want to accomplish at the end of at the end of it all? If she doesn't mind, she can answer.
Okay. Hello, Joyce. If you are still online, please send your answer.
She's not there. So for you to move from another sector to the tech, you have to have a reason, and as we said, also mentors, because they play a crucial role in your growth and in your sustainability at the end of the day in the tech industry. And you have to be braced for it. It's not a walk in the park, and you have to have an open mind, because at the end of the day, what you wanted, the reason why you started your tech journey might change due to other passions or other things that best fit your interest at the moment. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I think there's another question coming. There's another question. There's another question. Let me address it for you. Okay, so let me read it out. So that's coming from Godfred. And he said, looking at the niche intake, it's a lot. You may find interest in many fields. How does one niche down, or let's say narrow down and find inspiration in that field? Or advisably, it is good to generalize or specialize? Is it good to generalize or specialize? And yes, so who will take this question for us? Please, who will take this question for us? Oh, sorry. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Amma, can you take the question again?
Okay. Comment, please. Give me some few minutes. Just give me some few minutes to get the questions for you. Not to track them. Okay, so the question, looking at the niche intake, it's a lot. You may find interest in many fields. How does one narrow down and find inspiration in a field? Or is it advisable to specialize or generalize? Please, you get the question. Hello? Hello?
Hello,
Hi.
hello.
Please, you get the question.
Yes, please. I think as a beginner,
Yes.
try and generalize, and then as you go, you can now go into the niche you want to go to. That's what I would advise. So when you generalize, you get to know your interests, what you like, what you don't like, and then you can build from there to your niche. Okay, I like maybe back end, then go through that route. I like front end, go through that route. I want to become systems and all the other fields that we have. That's what I think.
Okay. Eve, Clifford, Esther, what do you have to say about that? Let's hear your take.
I share the same sentiment with Conlan. As a beginner, you start from maybe you just start off from a general perspective of things, then with time, depending on your interest, you can branch off to what you'd like to specialize on.
Esther. Esther, what do you have to say on that?
Yes. So I do agree with my colleagues. If the person has knowledge in tech already, I think it will be much easier. But if not, he or she can start with the general stuff, and then as time goes on, they can specialize with where their interest is.
But I think for me, I think I have a different view with journalizing. Don't you think when the person is journalizing, the person will be wasting time instead of knowing what you want and just going straight ahead to it? Don't you think journalizing will lead to you wasting time than to identify a spot that you know you can do well? Then you hammer on that.
Well, I don't think it's time wasting. I would use myself as an example. I am into security, okay, information security, and it cuts across, I'd say every aspect of tech, okay, because you are doing a bit of networking, you are doing application, you are doing cloud security. It has a lot of branches in there. So it would rather help if you have knowledge in a lot of these areas in tech. Okay, so I think it's dependent on which area you want to venture into. And gaining knowledge, I would never say it's time wasting. Okay, and it won't take much time, probably the first few formative years of your career. So yes, I don't think it's time wasting. That is for people who are not able to identify which area they want to venture into.
Okay.
I think generalizing will be good for them.
Okay. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Okay. So, and also, I have this question. What do you have to say about attending these seminars, events? Now I see a lot of tech events being organized in Ghana. What do you have to say about these? Do you make time to attend? Would you recommend people who are in tech to make time to attend? Because I also see that as an opportunity for you to network with like-minded people.
Yeah, I think you should attend tech programs. That's the only way you get to meet some of the developers, you get to meet like-minded people, and you can get mentors from that place as well.
Please, if you have any question, please send it to the chat box so that we address it for you. If you have any questions. You have any questions? So there's another question. So there's this perception. Another question someone wants to know. There's this perception like tech people don't take long, or they don't take long in companies. They don't spend a lot of time in companies, like working in companies. What do you have to say? What do you have to say concerning that? What is there any view? Do you have any view concerning that they don't spend, like, let's say you see on people's CV, this person spent like 6 years, 10 years, 5 years in a row. There's this perception that tech people don't really like to spend a lot of time in working for companies. What do you have to say concerning that? This question. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Yes.
I think it goes down to the individual mostly, and then the company. So mostly when a tech person is moving to another company, he's taking a pay raise. So that's the basic reason why people move around. So yeah, so if you want to get a pay raise bigger than what your company will do at the end of the year, you move to a different company and you are good to go. So that's the basic reason. And then we have other reasons why I think that would be mostly individual too. to the companies and all those things.
There's another question. Someone wants to know, how do you negotiate on good, like, how do you negotiate on a good pay? How do you negotiate? Like, you know, these tech jobs, you'll be doing the same role and your colleague in another company is earning much, much better than you. How do you negotiate for what you think you deserve as an individual? How do you negotiate? Because negotiation is a skill, and I think if you don't have that skill, you can't do well. And at the end of the day, you realize that you didn't negotiate well, and you already signed the contract. So how do you negotiate for good roles? Like the jobs you apply to, when you get called and they ask how much you want us to pay you, how do you negotiate the value you are bringing to the company? Esther, would you want to say something on that for us?
So is it in the case where you've already accepted the offer?
No. You are in the interview room, they are interviewing you and you are speaking about how much, like they are negotiating. You are talking about how much you want to be paid. How do you negotiate well?
Okay. So I think that before the interview, you should make a little bit of research and get to know like an average range of salaries that are being paid for the same role in other companies or other competitors. Okay, and have a fair idea of the range. And so going in, you know what to expect. So anything below that, you can talk to them about it. And companies, they always have the money, but it's based on how well you present yourself and how well you negotiate. And so just get that range of salaries that are being paid, looking at the level that they are employing you for, and then the role compared to other competitors. And I think it can work.
If how were you able to go about negotiation? You not coming from a tech background, I'm sure you didn't really know anything. I don't know, but I'm sure you didn't really have an idea as compared to people who have been in the tech space about how to negotiate on how much you want to be paid. How did you go about negotiation? Or it was just like, you're new, take it or leave it? Was it that kind of scenario, or you had a chance to negotiate? Hello, Eve, can you hear us? Hello, Eve.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
But I'd like to pass the question.
Please, yeah, who are you passing it to?
I would like you to respond to the question.
Who, please?
But I would say maybe in my other places where I've been in a position to negotiate.
Mm-hmm.
As Esther said, you look at how are people being paid currently with your current skill sets in the internet. How much are people? What is the range of payment? And when you're negotiating, you can say from this range to this range. And when you look at how much you're going to be paid, don't look at the gross salary alone. There are other things that you need to look into. So are they offering like medical insurance? How are they do? Okay, there are other things that you need to look into: medical insurance, house allowances. There are also other allowances that you need to look into. So I'd say you don't just look into the gross salary. You have to check the net, the deductions that come with that. You have to also see the allowances in specific sites. So I wouldn't say it from my personal experience, but from what I've gathered over the years, that's what I have to say about that.
Okay. So, okay. Please, are we done with the questions, or there are more to the questions? Please, if you have any questions, kindly put it on the chat box so that we address it and wrap up. This is our last question. Our last question, so we can wrap up. It's almost 3. Our last question. Our last question so that we can wrap up.
Can I take this opportunity?
Hello?
Yeah, this is Felix. Can I ask a question?
Yes, please do.
Okay, sure. So thank you for this opportunity. So I have been a student developer for quite some time. I was in meteorology and I ventured into tech. So during my time in school, I've had encounters with several companies, mostly startups, that will come and then they will promise you, oh, we want you to build the software for us, this, that, and we get this amount of money. Or maybe we want you to work for us. And by the time you realize, they will do you within some few months or weeks. So I want to really know. First, I got an idea from a guy that was suggesting I create contracts so that in case somebody comes and is offering an opportunity for me to work for them, I can let them sign a contract first. But I also want to know if there's any other suggestion that you guys have that will help students out, like student developers mostly. Thank you.
Hello? Did we get the question? Hello?
No, can it be repeated, please?
Okay. Alex, please, the question again.
Yes, so I was saying that I have been a student developer, and mostly you get a lot of people, mostly startups, coming to you that they want you to build their software, they want you to tell them with this, and they're going to pay you. And within some few weeks or some few months of working with them, they just do you. Some of them don't pay, some of them just they'll just lie to you, they won't pay the full amount, a whole lot of stuff. So I want to know the advice you have for student developers that are also venturing into tech, how they can relate with clients, and then the best way to go about that.
Hello, please, did we get the question? Hello?
Yes, we did. So Felix, I want to know, have you had the experience before?
Yes, please, several times. I'm talking from experience, actually.
Okay. Yeah. So what was the agreement between you and the client? Was it just a verbal communication, or was there any contracts binding you? Or I want to know how you went about it.
Okay, so first of all, what I used to do was just verbal agreement. But later on, I started to draft out a contract. That one, they can be like a written agreement. So at first it was verbal. Some of them, they come, let's say they wanted to maybe build the software stuff, and then you work with a team, of which mostly I don't know, but I don't know whether it's good to work for startups or stuff, because some of them, one, you don't get people to help you out, review your code, a whole lot of stuff, like some crazy stuff. But coming on to whether it's verbal or written, at first it was verbal, but later on I had to move to written down speaking.
And with the documented contracts, how has it been?
So for now, it's working well, but I was thinking if there will be other stuff too. Because sometimes the documented one is like a simple draft that I have, but it doesn't cover a lot of stuff. So maybe if the contract is a web development contract, then I have, okay, let's do this, that. If let's say mobile app, let's do this, that. So that is what I have basically. It's kind of a general, but if there will be like some specific stuff you have to add to the contract or any other thing you think would be advisable to add up to a written down contract.
Yeah,
Okay.
Felix, I was a student developer as well. I worked with a lot of people, and this is what I'll tell any student developer to do. If somebody comes to you or approaches you that they want you to build this, before you open your text editor to code, make sure he pays 1/3 of the amount you guys agreed with. Until he pays, don't start anything. Because trust me, if you start anything, he's not going to pay you, and probably at most times you don't hear from them and then they go away. So take 1/3 of the money. If the person doesn't agree to commit 1/3 to his dream, then you shouldn't commit anything to his dream. That's what I did mostly, and it worked. Those who are serious, they are willing to pay. Those who mostly run, they'll tell you that they don't have the money and other stories. Yeah. So that's how I went around it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And also to add to it, I think moving forward, every contract should be documented and agree on the service level. And if possible, get a legal practitioner who can back you with the contract documentation. Just so that in case of any incidents like that, if you want to take anybody on, you have valid documents to provide.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay. Clifford, please, are you back now? Hello, Clifford. Hello, Clifford. Hello, Clifford. Hello. Okay, so while we get Clifford on the line,
I'm
Clifford, are
here,
you back?
but yeah, you had to unmute me for me to speak. I wasn't able to unmute. Yeah, but I've gotten the notification now, so it's fine. I'm on mute. Now I cannot hear you. Hello? Can anyone hear me?
Yes. Yes, we can hear you. I don't know why, but let me text her to see. I think she's muted, but she's now aware of it.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, Abna, we couldn't hear you at first.
Okay. So, Clifford, there's I want you to address this one question. Sorry you couldn't answer most of the questions. And there's this one that I want you to let us know your take on it. I'm coming. So this question, looking at that niche in tech, it's a lot. You may find interest in many fields. How does one narrow down and find inspiration in a field? Is it good to specialize or generalize? Let's say a take on it.
So for matters like this, it will be best to have so it's more of like a T shape, right? You see, we have the horizontal bar and then the vertical bar, T. So then you have an in-depth knowledge of something, and then you have knowledge on other things. So for instance, if let's say you're into tech, you know about software, blah, 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 or that kind of thing. But then when it comes to, let's say, let me use myself as an example. I have an idea on, what machine learning and, data science and all those guys are. But I would say my stronghold is more data engineering. So I'm trying to build that in-depth knowledge in data engineering. And then on the on the surface level, I know other things, but then have something that is your stronghold. You have a strong understanding of, because if you try to master everything, it's actually not possible. The space is too big, and there are way too many things to learn. So it's very hard to master everything. So to me, I think it would be best to have an in-depth knowledge of one thing, and then you can learn other things as well. But then you have something that you have deep knowledge of. And that's what sets you apart, because, it's very competitive in this field. And yeah, there are lots of people doing tech. So if you know something very well, then it sets you apart from a lot of people, because you become, the odogu of that thing.
Interesting. So you don't believe in generalizing?
So like I said, it's good to know other things, because I know some software stuff, data science, machine learning, like all these things. But then these are not my stronghold. My stronghold is data engineering. You see, so I'm trying to build that in-depth knowledge in data engineering, and then on the surface knowledge with the other, software, and then machine learning and the other guys.
So I think you are coming from a point of you when you have, let's say, knowledge in it, you want to build up by specializing. Is that what you're trying to say? Is that what you're saying? Because for somebody without a tech background or doesn't know where to learn, do you think the person should specialize, or the person has to generalize in the beginning, and as time goes on, the person will specialize? Hello, Clifford. Hello.
Yeah, and for some reason, I'm not able to unmute myself. I don't know why. But can you take the question again, please?
I'm saying that you are saying this with the perspective of somebody who has a tech background, or somebody who has an idea of where he's going, that he should specialize. But what about the person who is new in tech and doesn't have any where to start? Would you still advise that person to find where he wants and specialize, or the person should generalize in the beginning and specialize as time goes on?
So for someone starting, first of all, if you don't know what exactly you want to do in the tech space, what are you starting with exactly? You need to know what you want to do. So because it's very huge, otherwise you'll be depressed, and you'll be stressed out, and you even give up on the tech journey. But then if you know, okay, so mostly when people say, what language do I learn first? Like people that are trying to get into tech, what language do I learn first? I just throw back a question at them and say, what do you like to do? Because if you don't know, if you want to do web development, there's a learning part and the languages that you learn. At the end of the day, these languages are just a means to an end. So I feel like if you're now getting started, then you should know what interests you. And we are young, so we have a lot of time to, you can start with whatever. Maybe you start with web development. Along the line, realize that I don't really like it. You go to backend, realize that, oh, okay, I think I prefer backend, and then now you give your all in the backend. But before anything, you still have to know what exactly you want to do, because not everybody is interested in web development. Even people just want to be PMs or UI UX. So depending on like the field that you are interested in, then you can pick your learning materials. But it's going to be very hard to say, I don't know what interests me. I want to get started into tech. Somebody will say, go and learn Python. Somebody will say, learn TypeScript, learn JavaScript, learn Java. So then what are you going to learn first? But when you know what you want to do, then you know the things you have to learn.
Okay, sure. We are wrapping up. So please, your last words, starting with, please let it be very, very, very brief. Very, very brief. Starting with Esther, your last words. Your last words, please.
Okay. So my last words, I would say that just an advice to people who want to venture into tech. Anything is possible. Okay, you just have to put your mind to it. Anything is achievable. And yes, there's nothing easy on the table. So if you want to get in there, you should be willing to put in the work. And so hard work and determination pays.
Yeah,
That's what I have to.
okay, sure. Thank you, Esther. Eve, please, your last words before we wrap up. Hello, Eve. Hello, Eve. Your last words before we wrap
I
up.
was struggling to unmute. So, okay, what I'll say, it will be targeted for those people who want to transition into tech and they're in other fields. I'd say that tech is not a walk in the park, but when you come into joining tech, you should have an end goal, what you want and why you want to start it at the first place, and at least be passionate about it, have a community or mentors that will help you through it, and above all, enjoy the process. Yeah, that's all.
Colin, please, your last words, very short. Thank you, very short. Your last words. Hello, Conlan. Hello,
Yes,
Conlan.
yeah, hello. I'll tell everybody keep learning and have fun while you are doing it.
Okay, thank you so much. So Felix would like to give us the closing remarks. So Felix, are you available?
Yes,
Hello.
yes, please. Yes, please.
Yes, please. Felix will want to give us the closing remarks.
Okay, sure. So my name is Felix Kwamnawose. I'm also currently an NSS personnel, also into software engineering. I'm working with a company called Data Maven. So I'm also working remotely. And it's really good, and I really enjoyed this conversation, getting to know people that are also into that field. It's really nice. So thank you very much to our guests and our participants too for joining this meeting today. We thank you very much. And we also want to apologize for the technical issue we had with the noise and the whole other stuff. So we are very sorry for that. We are praying that next time we'll improve on it and to be a better experience. So thank you all for coming for this meeting. God bless you all.
Please, there's one request. There's one request from Godfred, and he wants you to drop, he wants the speakers to drop their handles, or so that they can connect. He can connect with them. Yes, so please kindly drop your handles for those of us who want to connect with you, since the networking has already started. So please kindly drop your handles. I'm sure he's talking about LinkedIn handles, if I'm not mistaken. LinkedIn handles. If you can kindly drop your LinkedIn handles for for Godfred to follow you, please. The networking starts from here.